days off just to kind of get their bodies recuperated. We've been grinding them pretty good in the weight room, so just to kind of get everybody fresh and ready to go and start camp.
Question to go right ahead.
Yeah, but you guys have always recruited really well. But has it changed at all maybe with the year that you're coming off of last year as far as being able to recruit more nationally?
Yeah, I think the biggest change is just more people want to come see Clemson. I mean, I think it's just an easier conversation. You know, we've always reached out to, you know, the national guys, but my big thing is that if a guy's it's too inconvenient for a guy to come and visit us unofficially or come to camp, then, you know, probably not going to get him for 4 years. And we've just had a lot more guys that want to come see us, you know, unofficially come to camp, whatever it may be. And I think that's probably the biggest thing is just, you know, the exposure of our brand. We've benefited greatly from, you know, the last 5 years, to be honest with you. So I think that's the biggest change. And then the old saying that we always say, if we can get them here, we got a chance. And that holds true whether it's a kid from 50 miles or a kid from 500 miles. It's the same.
Yeah, but you think there's a different pressure that attaches itself this season because you guys aren't grinding to get to the top. You've been right near the top and are expected to get back there again this year. Does that present a different set of challenges for the coaches, the players?
Not really. I think, you know, for the past several years, I think we've been good enough. And I think we're good enough this year. But every year is a grind to get there. I mean, there's no free passes. You don't just, you know, skip here and end up over here. I mean, you gotta go through the steps. And every year is different. And we've had a nice run of consistency, and that's really what I want to see from this team. Is just, again, to be consistent performers, to be about the right things, to prepare the right way, to be committed each and every week, to you know, put everything we got into that game. You know, the one game season mentality, that's what we talk about all the time. And if we continue to do that, then you know, I think we can be in the hunt. And again, there's a lot of things that can ultimately determine whether you're in the national championship. I don't think, you know, some people may say, oh, well, that may be the goal, but that's really not the goal. The goal is to be the best that we can be. And that's all we're going to focus on. And that starts with everybody giving that type of effort and commitment, you know, day in and day out as we grind through the season. But you got to start over. I mean, we're not on the middle of the hill. I mean, we got to start back, and we got to go prove it. We got to go earn it, you know, day in and day out, week in and week out. And you know, hopefully, when the dust settles at the end of the season, we got a shot to make another run at it. But the season is so important, and it's not something that you can just skip through.
You always say 5 plays a game. Some games that the players may not listen to it because you win by 30 or 40. But
Yeah.
Can you turn on that national championship game and show them what 5 plays means?
Yeah, I already have. You know, I did that. That's how we started spring. You know, I took 5 plays that, you know, really had nothing to do with the opponent. It was just kind of a message as we started spring that it's, you know, it's all about Clemson. It's about what we control. It's not about anything else. And let's take care of us. Let's don't, you know, and just so you know, the onside kick wasn't in that clip, and the kickoff return wasn't in that clip. Neither one. You know, they made 2 great plays. Sometimes the opponent makes plays. They made a great play down the sideline. You know, ball falls out of the sky. You know, I mean, that's ball. Guys make plays. Other teams are good players, but it's the things that we do control. And that was kind of the message in that video. You know, and I started with our best player because he had 2 plays in that game that were critical mistakes and critical errors, and it was an easy way to kind of, you know, transfer into the spring practice and make sure everybody had their mind right as we got back to the basics, because, you know, it was the little things that cost us in that game. And we made a couple of mistakes, and when you're in a game like that and you're playing an opponent like that, it is a few plays. Yes, there's some games where we maybe have a bigger margin for error, but when you're playing championship level, championship caliber football, and it's really good on good, kind of even. It's a few plays, and of the 5 that I presented, if you change 2 of them, the outcome's probably different. But you can't change it, and so it's ball handling, it's fundamentals, it's just executing the call. It's cover 3, it's cover 2, and supporting from the outside and not running inside a receiver. It's just little things. It's not big things at all. But it was a good way as we started over in the spring to kind of refocus them. But to be honest with you, this bunch, they've been really easy. They've had a sense of urgency from day one and an eagerness to get back at it.
What is your biggest concern going into the season?
Biggest concern? I don't really have a huge concern. I think we got some answers we got to go get. As far as how's it going to shape up for us at defensive end? Who's going to start there? What's the depth of the rotation going to be? I'm excited about our backups at tight end. How's that going to shake out? I think we got a really good group there. We're in a totally different situation than we were this time last year. Same thing at running back. Totally different situation than we were this time last year. I'm excited about the talent and depth that we have at receiver, and kind of watching that play itself out. Obviously the secondary, getting the right piece, getting the right guys in the right spot, because I think we got a lot of versatility, especially with the guys, the additions this summer. We got a lot of options, so just figuring that out. But I'm not really concerned about that. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about getting to work and kind of, figuring all that out and seeing who's going to emerge in all of those areas. But I'm more excited than I am anything. Not really concerned, to be honest with you.
Last year, this time, there was a lot of talk about some of the off-field issues and how that would affect certain positions going into the season. Based on what I know, we all know that's not been an issue this year. It's going to be gratifying, number one, but how does that ease your mind as you put together a depth chart? I know I'm going to have all these guys.
Yeah. Well, it's the way it should be, and it just means you got some guys that have done a good job. They've been focused, and I think we had Battle leaves. Lacob got in trouble. I guess that was it. I think that was the main 2 guys, this time last year that were going into this. And that doesn't mean the team wasn't focused. We just had a couple guys, and it creates a distraction because I have to deal with that type of stuff in the media. But our team was dialed in, and it showed all year. The message last year was, what are we going to do at left tackle? We're going to go with Mitch Hyatt. And he started 15 games and did just fine. That's kind of where we are this year, except we don't have any of those things to talk about because it has been a good summer. Because when you have 100% of your guys, do what they're supposed to do and not have to deal with that, and that's a real positive. And it's unfortunate because last year, you got 99% of the guys do what they're supposed to do, and a couple of guys create a distraction, but it didn't create a distraction for our team. But it is nice from my standpoint to not have to deal with all the drama that comes with that type of situation. And hopefully, again, we'll be able to finish up these next couple weeks and not have any issues. They've done a nice job.
We're getting ready for a season where if things go the way you want, your quarterback could be like the face of college football, the main attraction in college football. Have you had to talk to him about it, or is he as prepared for that? He seems as prepared for that as anybody I've ever seen, for 21 years old.
Yeah, he is. We've had a lot of conversations. We started having those conversations when he was a freshman. So he's I don't really have to say a whole lot to D-Dub. He's dialed in. He's just a guy that's hungry to be the best. He's hungry to get better. He's not satisfied. He does a great. He's very critical of himself as far as what he can do to improve. He's a grinder. I mean, he likes to work at it, and then he gets it. I mean, you're talking about a guy that's taking 17 hours this summer. A lot of guys are like, well, I'm gonna take 1 and 1 so I can kind of have some, and he's taking 17 hours. I think he's only got 5 hours this fall. So he's 5 hours short of graduating in 2.5 years. So you have to be incredibly driven and focused to be able to do something like that, especially with his demands and the platform that he's got, and the stuff that comes with being the quarterback at Clemson. So I'm really proud of him. He's a great leader, so unselfish, very humble, and he's not worried about. I don't worry about him worrying about being an All-American or winning the Heisman. He just doesn't think like that. I mean, that'd be nice, but he wants to win. That's what he wants to do. Nobody wants to win more than Deshaun Watson, and he'll do everything he can to win each and every week. He's going to prepare. You can just count on that. My big thing for him is hopefully the good Lord keeps him healthy and he can have another great year. He's going to graduate in December and have opportunity to move on to the next level, and I'm excited for him. But all that'll come in due time. It's about the finishing the journey the strong way and finishing with no regrets. I think that's what he's dialed in on doing.
Is he thicker? Significantly thicker?
Oh yeah. He's about. I think he was 218, 217, 218 the other day. He looks great, and that's just the same thing. I mean, it's in every area. He's just a guy that showed up here about 180 pounds, and maybe 180, 102, or something like that. Now he's 218 pounds. He just puts the work in. That is a reflection of a guy that's committed. When you look at what he does academically, you look at what he does off the field as far as how he handles his business. You never hear anything about Deshaun Watson. He just, because he's so busy, every time I call him, he's in Vickery. Where you at? I'm in Vickery, writing the paper. He's just, and I'm like, hey, you need to go take a break. He's just dialed in on what he wants out of life and what he wants out of the season. It's fun to see a guy develop. Everybody say, guys, he's a really good player. What can he do? Well, he's got a lot he can do. He can get better physically and mentally, which is what he's done. Get stronger, which is what he's done. Continue to build his body. And when you guys see him, you'll recognize that. I mean, he noticeably is probably about 10 pounds. I think he was about 208 when he finished the season last year. He's a good 10 pounds thicker, stronger.
We talked about it a lot during the spring with Christian. Do you have it in your mind he's going to play end, he's going to play tackle, or are Cleveland Farrell and Richard Urian going to decide that?
I think that gets decided by how it all shakes out at the position. I mean, we're going to play the best guys, and if he's better than those two, or the third guy, or the third D tackle needs to be in there. I mean, we've got some flexibility there, but I think we're going to be just fine in the end. I mean, I really think Christian will be inside, but he's another guy that has just worked his tail off. Looks amazing. Really changed his body, and he was pretty good last year, but he's really taken it to a whole nother level from a nutrition standpoint now that he's had a really full year in the program. He understands the edge that his body is a great asset for him. So he's put himself in position where he can play either. I think he's fine with that, but I think that's to be determined. There's really no way to answer that right now until we get out in the field and see how it all shakes out with the other guys. But I can tell you this: if we line up with Big Clee and Yergin and Austin, I think we'll be just fine.
Is it